Hello, my name is Tristan Gordon, and today I just want to run through Fred Weinhaus's Imagemagick Scripts. They're absolutely fantastic little pieces of tool and kit that you can plug into on your web-based server to be able to automatically process images with Imagemagick to achieve end results, combining lots of different sections together. And it's great for kind of processing images on the fly and being able to use them for your website for whatever your purpose may be. I've actually been dealing with Fred direct and asked him quite a lot of help, and he's been really helpful in doing this and helping me get my piece of code all up together and running. So today I just wanted to give you a video to demonstrate what I've done, how I've got it working, and hopefully this might help someone else down the line, as I have spent, even with Fred's help, quite a lot of time bashing my head against the wall trying to work out why PHP just wouldn't speak with the software. So what I want to jump into first is I'm going to show you my server. I'm going to explain what you need set up and to get it running. So I just use mtputty to be able to connect onto my server. So the first thing that you're going to want to know is you're going to need to make sure that you're running the latest version of Imagemagick. So what you can do, first of all, is type in convert into your SSH, so when you log in, /version. And what that'll do is that will come up and tell you what you're running. And you want to be running at least Imagemagick 7. The problem I had and faced and really struggled with was I use Vesta as a control panel. And Vesta is a free control panel system if you're using it for web hosting or on your own self-managed servers. And it's quite a good way of being able to set up individual views underneath it. The downside of it is it comes packaged with Imagemagick 6. And that means when you come to start using some of the more advanced tools and way of calculating and editing images in Imagemagick, it just fails and it doesn't work. So the way that I had to build the system, just as a heads up for anyone else in the future, is to build the system top down. So I built Imagemagick first, put all the updates and everything else into the background into Centos, which is what I'm using, Centos 7. Built all of that in first, put Imagemagick in, and then installed Vesta, and that way it skipped Imagemagick 6 as a package. So that's one section. The next bit, you need to make sure that you have the binary calculator installed to BC, and this is something I had to install myself, but just make sure you've got it installed. One way to check if it is installed, you can type in bc-h, and H is for help, and here it tells you what's going on and if you've got it there. So you can see here, like, if I did bc-v, you'd be able to see what version I've got and that it's in there running. The next one you'll need, and this isn't the correct terminology for calling it, but it will give you a result and an answer to see whether it's installed, is sed. And just by doing that, you can see, look, it says it's an invalid option, but it gives you all the options there. So I could have probably used sed-version if you want to use that yourself in future, which is a nice way of doing it. And that just needs to be installed. The next one is expr-h, and again, that's another help string, and that's just checking that is installed. If you don't have that installed, make sure you install it. So just to kind of quickly cover over those, so you want to check if you've got BC installed, and you do that by doing bch. If you've got sed, so if you do sed-v, and that will come up. And we actually said if you did bcv, didn't we? And so the next one you want to have is tr, and that's being able to transfer from uppercase to lowercase. So I've just copied that. And if you're in your Unix shell or your access to it, you can right click it, press enter, and look, you can see it translates it to uppercase. And so we know that, sorry, I've shown you the wrong thing there. That then means we can use this as another test. The next section is sort, and you want to have sort so you can then be able to go through files. So I'm just going to put list, so I'm just saying list files. I'm going to put sort.txt. Sort.txt is a file that I've created with various different names and things all inside it. And the idea is we're trying to sort it alphabetically. So you can create your own sort.txt file to check it's working. And then here you can see that it just puts that into alphabetical order. So you can see I've got everything installed and ready to run and to be able to use Imagemagick to convert. So the next problem I then faced was trying to get the script actually running. So what I'll do here is I'm just going to change directly into web, and then I'll just change into search, and then I can then change into cd public install HTML, cd dev. And so this is just where I've got my files and selects put in together just whilst I've been developing. Daftly, I have been developing live, but this is all being removed. So this should be fine to put a video up to explain what's going on. But then what you're going to do is you'll have your file. You might be able to replace yours and put your EPC, your file or Imagemagick file somewhere, wherever you want it. The bit that you'll have is a file here that you would have uploaded, and it will be a bash file. And so what you're going to want to do is rename it, and you can rename it. So say for example I've got EPC rating here .sh. You can just type mv to epc-rating.tristan, for example. Not that that's ever going to do anything, but then you can then see that we now have a file called epc-rating-tristan. I'm going to move that back to epc-rating.sh so it'll work. What have I done there? Ah, there we go. So I haven't actually moved epc-rating.tristan to epc-rating.sh. As I said, I'm not incredible at doing this, but I just wanted to point out what else that happens. The next bit is you need to make sure that you have chmoded the file so it can be executed. So I'm just going to pause here. So what you're going to want is to be able to make sure that that file is executable. So we're going to simply chmod that file. So you can then do, and again, as I said, u plus x, epc-rating.sh. And you'll see that will just update it, and that means that file is now accessible to be able to use. And that's great. So now what we've got is a file there that we can run. To be able to run it in PuTTY, you just simply bash the file, so you then go epc-rating.sh, and then that will run that Imagemagick script to be able to convert or do whatever else you want it to, and then it will just call out and run those scripts in the background. So this should really hopefully have connected some dots to make sure that your server's running in the right way, you've got all the information all uploaded correctly, and you're actually finding everything to make it work. So once you've got to that stage, the next bit I struggled with was using PHP to be able to access this. So I'll just jump over into a little bit of PHP to show you what I was failing with and how I managed to get it working. So just over into Notepad. What you'll see here is originally, this is kind of a bit of an evolution of how I started working with it. So originally I went and used exec in PHP to be able to execute the system file, and then just told it to bash the file, what the file is, and these are all variables that are related to my piece of software we built or piece of code we had written, then the variables and how I wanted the image or where I wanted the image outputted. The next bit, and that just completely failed, it didn't work at all, but the actual code itself, when it had all of the ratios, the other items and everything else in it, and you just bashed it on the Centos server or on the Unix server, it worked every time without fail. And so I just kept saying, I was like, why on earth isn't this working? So I then went to a stage where I prepared the variable or prepared the statement, so that way there aren't any variables going in. And again, completely failed, didn't work, but this time I was able to echo and be able to see the statement so that I could then put it into the SSH and bash it, and it ran, and that was fine. So I was wondering what's going on there. And then eventually it evolved to a real slight variation to shell exec. And in doing this, and I realise obviously I'm showing you a tiny bit of code, but in doing this, this actually made it work and it ran. So just to point out, this last section, a prepared statement for what I wanted to do, and then executing it, then just made it run. So I'm hoping that that might help anyone out there who's struggling with PHP and trying to get that all to work together. Trying to think if there's any other issues. I think that's everything that I had for it and where I was really struggling with the system. That's what I've used to be able to get it all up and running and integrated. If you've got any questions, hopefully I'll be able to answer them and point you in the right direction. But Fred's a great guy, he's got a great piece of kit out there, but I just really wanted to add something like this to be able to help others out there who struggle like I have. Good luck with it, and if you've got any questions or comments, post them below.